All right. Hello, everybody. Good morning. Gentle reminder, I am on spring break with my kiddos this week and will be offline for not just group, but also one-on-one coaching. I know I've expressed that, previously a couple of weeks ago. I think it was like at the beginning of March, my vacation days. So I just wanted to update you guys, but I did want to get you a short transmission on the astrology for this week, mainly the full moon in Libra, as well as Venus in a square to Pluto this week. So let's go ahead and get into it. I've got my son here with me. Just say hi. To keep me on track with time, because y'all know what is time. Not real. So let's go ahead and get into it. So the very first thing is this morning, we are going to have Venus cross into 0 degrees Taurus. So Venus ingress Taurus is lovely. Venus loves being in Taurus. That is her, one of her places that she naturally exists in. In Taurus, it's about money, it's about real estate, it's about resources. It's about things that you can have and hold on to. It's largely the pentacles in the tarot arcana. So Taurus is going to be here to try to help us stabilize and figure out how we want to make money and all of those things. However, because Pluto is at 5 degrees of Aquarius, which is as far as it's going to get in 2026 before it retrogrades this summer, we are going to see Venus work its way into an exact square with Pluto this week. And we'll talk about that in a minute and what that can bring up. But the moment that it crosses into Taurus, which would be at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time today, here on March 30th, we're going to start to feel the pressure rising. It could be around finances. It could be around relationship matters. But Venus in Taurus is more about stability and housing and clothes and cars and things that provide a sense of stability in that way, but also self-worth. When she is in Libra, her other domicile, she's more about relationships, romance, harmony, justice, things like that. When she's in Taurus, she's a lot about like physical manifested security. So it's a wonderful time to really face your fears, to manifest. So it's a great time to really think about that and how all of those things are starting to work its way into alignment. You guys have so much homework, between your jars and your vision and your sadhanas, and being able to apply those into being able to merge your 3 jars into 1 jar and starting to work on your vision so that when we cast in the end of April, you guys will be ready to seal your jars and then start to work the amplification aspect of this work. And so let's go ahead and get into the rest of the actual week. So like I said, Venus is going to cross into Taurus today at noon Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow is when the moon is going to move into Libra. So we're going to have a full Libra moon at 12 degrees of Libra on the 31st and the 1st. My son is pointing to the aspects. Sorry. It's spring break, guys. Like, we got so many kids. Bear with me. And right now, the moon is in Virgo, the later degrees of Virgo. It is a great time to get shit done, make your task list, close things out, because we are in, the darker aspect of the moon in its waxing aspect. So anything that has to do around Virgo is like, things that need to get done that are practical. Final things with taxes, guys. Taxes are due in like 2 weeks. Like anything like that. It's a lot of like pulling things together, little details, crossing things off the list, productivity, cleaning out your closet, purging things, those kinds of things before we hit that full moon. Then the full moon will be at 10:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 1st, 12 degrees of Libra. And that is a really big one. So when we talk about a full moon in Libra, we're always talking about relationships. The full moon in Libra always comes during Aries season, because we know that when the sun and the moon are exactly opposite each other, that makes the full moon. So when the sun is at 12 degrees of Aries and the moon hits 12 degrees of Libra, exactly opposite, boom, we have the full moon. So I'm a Libra that was born under an Aries full moon during Libra season. And I have a sun sitting right here who is my Aries. Are you going to actually say hi? Hi, say hi, Saul. He was my Saturn return baby. He was born on my Saturn return. So, all right, now, let me think about the other things. So on the 3rd, which is like our Friday, it's actually going to kind of carry all through the week. Mercury is direct now. It's going to get all the way up to, hold on one second. Where? There you are. You're 14 degrees by Wednesday. So yeah, we're starting to pick up some speed now. Mars is at 23 degrees of Pisces on the day of the full moon. We're finally like starting to move. We're finally getting some movement. That Mars will be in a weak sextile to Uranus at 28 degrees of Taurus, but there is definitely some sense of action that is being taken towards some sort of long-term change. This is something that's not old, or something that's not new, it's old, it's things from the past that just need to be finalized, and you need to take some final steps of courageous action. You know, Mars in Pisces is very underutilized, but one thing it is a spiritual warrior. So it's like if you have faith in something, take a leap in something, but it's also about making sure that any kind of passive aggressiveness is being brought up to the surface to be discussed. Okay. Not too many other major aspects this week. The moon's going to move into Scorpio on the 3rd, which is Friday. So we'll have the moon in Scorpio all weekend at the same time that Venus is going to square Pluto. Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio. So this is something where it's very important to understand that it could be like an emotionally heavy weekend. Okay. Like get your finger out of my frame. I'm sorry. Venus, stop it. So Venus, like I said, is working its way up to a square in Pluto all through the week, but it is actually go. You have lost then you have to be quiet and sit here. You can't do that. This is why I'm on spring break, guys. I can't focus. So on the 3rd, which is Friday at 6:37 p.m. So like right when you would sit down to like eat pizza and start watching a movie with your kids or something like that, or whatever you do on Fridays, that's when Venus is going to square Pluto. And there is like an intensity here. Venus is the feminine. She, is something about repressed anger, repressed fear, repressed emotions, a deep need for transformation in your finances, some sort of leap that's necessary here. Okay. But that is going to carry all weekend long. Okay. Then on Saturday, we've got Venus in a semi-sextile to Saturn, because Saturn's at 5 degrees of Aries. So to have Venus and Taurus 30 degrees apart from Pluto is like they're really intensely trying to complete something. Something is really having to get like looked at. Fears, shadows, ego, things like that. And like real decisions are having to be made because Pluto and Saturn are heavy hitters. And in old astrology, they were called the great malefics, like the ones that would bring up a lot of really heavy shit to the surface. So there's some sort of commitment and contract that's necessary, something that is like long-term maturity that's necessary. And then Pluto is like evolve or die. Okay. Like face the music. Something's got to shift. Something's got to change. You need to face your fears about this. You need to go after that. But that is going to carry all weekend long. Okay. So it will definitely have a heaviness to it. And then on Sunday, the sun is going to square Jupiter. So the sun will be at 15 degrees of Aries and will square Jupiter direct at 15 degrees of Cancer. And that will carry all through like Friday into next week. And it's a positive thing. Okay. There's like, again, another push. And the moon's going to move into Sagittarius on Sunday, which I love the moon in Sagittarius, especially when the sun's in Aries. It gives us this sense of courage and insight and optimism that Jupiter supports. So to have two big Jupiter aspects on the same day over the weekend is definitely going to help soften the blow of this Saturn-Pluto semi-sextile. But there's something about bravery and courage and needing to face scary things for long-term success, because Venus In Pluto, or sorry, Venus in Taurus squared Pluto is like, you've got to face some pretty practical challenges in order to overcome them for long-term return on investment success, long-term ROI. All right. So keep that in mind. Jupiter is here to help us see the bright side, to help us be enterprising and entrepreneurial about things, to help us see the positives and to go after them. All right. So I hope that that helps you guys. Your tarot card for this week is a card to show me what the full moon in Libra will illuminate for me. A card to show me what the full moon in Libra will illuminate for me. I'll make sure I write that down there. I'm not doing reads this week on y'all's cards because I'm on spring break. I will be pretty crickets in the coven, but we start back as normal on Monday next week. So I will see you guys then. I hope you have a great week. And until then, ciao.